6 Madison Street in Southeast Brainerd construction project. And it looks like there's a number of things that kind of added up on this one. So Mr. Sandy, if you want to go through that one.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is kind of what we consider like a cleanup change order after a project is kind of wrapped up. Our staff kind of combed through the project with the contractor and kind of address all of the items that came up during construction that either weren't in the plans or was an unexpected construction type that went on. So there's a multitude of things that this change order consists of. In the explanation, you can kind of read about each one. The first thing that is on the change order was a water line hit. This was down on Madison Street. This wasn't mapped. We didn't have record of it, and BPU did not either. And so when the contractor located when the locators located the water utilities, when we were installing storm sewer, this water line was not marked, and so therefore contractor hit it. It started leaking. We had to repair that. Being it wasn't the contractor's fault, he is due payment for that. We had one water line that we had to lower on Madison Street, which you can see is the second item on the change order. Couple of the things, one thing that had to deal with the storm sewer was basically at the intersection of at Madison Street and 13th Street Southeast. We had to take off 2 aprons and fill the inslope in on the road so that the slope was a little less right there at 13th Street. Then we put the end section back on. That was for $693. The largest part of this is the exploratory digging at 15th Street and 16th Street Southeast related to our water main replacement. When we were in the design process, this was really an unknown of how all of this laid out in the intersection. And so we did ask the contractor at the pre-construction meeting to do some what we call exploratory digging, which means the contractor goes, he digs up the intersection where all the things come together, and we figure out how we can isolate the street, the segments we were replacing prior to digging up the street and shutting the water main off. So because we didn't know how everything laid out in the intersection where the gate valves were, we didn't know exactly how to isolate it going in. And so we asked the contractor to do this on our behalf so that BPU was comfortable shutting off certain things that go in different directions so that we knew we were only isolating the segment we needed to replace. There was 2 specialty castings that the contractor had to bring in for a force main manhole and a casting on a water main gate valve box. Those were the other 2 items. So really kind of a hodgepodge. When it all is said and done, the total change order amount was $11,521.28. I kind of broke it out. $10,828.28 is a BPU cost and therefore will be charged to their water utility, and that $693 comes from the storm sewer fund. And that is the change order. So staff is recommending that we approve that and pay DeChantel Excavating in that amount.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, how old are these pipes that we're digging up, and how long ago did they start to map these out better so that we don't have to run into this kind of stuff?
It's not necessarily about mapping them out because we're only as good as the as-built plans we have are. So, we can do a certain amount of locating from the surface with the technology they have, but really we really look at the as-built plans from back when the water main was installed, the 30s and the 40s. And if the plans, we actually had 2 separate set of plans, and they showed different things. So we weren't sure which one was the correct layout, and therefore we couldn't figure out how to specifically isolate the water main segments we needed to work on because we didn't know which one was correct.
So once one was hit, then you knew which one was right and wrong, or was it
once we dug the intersection up, once we dug up the exploratory digging, we could verify which one was right.
Okay.
Which plan set was right, because there was 2 separate ones that had them shown differently, so we weren't sure which one was correct. And they were from the 30s and 40s, so I mean,
It's like working on an old house.
Huh?
It's
Yeah,
like
you're
working
looking
on
at
an old
stuff
house.
from a very long time ago. You can't necessarily locate it from the surface. The gate valves and things are in spots that really didn't make sense to what the plan showed. So the only way to verify it was to dig it up, look at it, and then bury it again, and then repave over the top so that we knew what was going on.
Spend a few $1,000s to save tens of thousands of dollars. Got it. Okay. Does have any discussion?
Move to, sorry.
Go ahead.
Motion, when you're ready.
Yeah, go ahead.
Move to approve the change order in the amount of $11,521.28.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, go to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Second item is a event application for hometown holidays. And Paul, it looks like you took in this application. If you want to start off.
Yep, I certainly can. This is an event app for the Hometown Holidays event. It takes place from November 27th to December 3rd. The event app is specifically for the bump outs on the sidewalks at Laurel and 7th. The applicants are asking for having some fire pits, and on Small Business Saturday, which is on 11/27, they want to have live reindeer at those locations. This will also have the Christmas tree lighting ceremony on 12/3. They're not really requesting much of anything. We did run this past the fire chief. He talked with them and got them squared away on what they need to do for the fire pits. There was some exchanges about the reindeer and stuff. It's professional operation. They're handled by professionals. And so we really don't have any concerns there. The only things that we noted on the application for conditions were to, let me scroll back up here. Submit the required insurance certificate prior to the event taking place. And then the fire chief did comment that we should have fire extinguishers available by each pit, and the fires be in a fire pit or ring enclosure, and that they be extinguished fully after each day they are lit. So that's the three conditions that he had on those.
Okay.
I don't have anything else otherwise.
Are these reindeer from the North Pole?
Of course they are.
Okay.
Where else would they
all
be
are,
from?
aren't they?
I am reassured that they will be in a cage, wild.
Well, otherwise
are
they'd
in a
fly away. I get it. Riley, is there anything that you wanted to add or questions you had or anything?
Pretty much covered it.
Okay. You guys have any questions?
I have a
Motion?
motion when you're ready.
Go ahead.
So move to approve the event under the following conditions, that they submit the required insurance certificate prior to the event, and fire extinguishers be made available at each pit, and fires be in proper ring pit enclosures. Fires be extinguished after a full day after they are lit.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none? Oh,
I don't know if it changes your opinion or not, but Community Action will be in charge of the fire pits on one of the days. So I don't know if that throws a monkey wrench into the whole mix or not.
Yeah, we gotta reconsider.
You might want to shut the whole thing down.
I did
Will
have,
you be in charge of any of the fire pits?
I will be running a
He
fire
is
pit, so we may want to
Community
shut it down.
I did have one quick question, I guess. I saw the tree out here is getting lit the final day of this. Is that correct?
Correct.
One of you know?
Yes, December 3rd, it's actually the start of the hometown holidays, so then the next 3 Saturdays we'll have Santa's workshops taking place, so
Okay,
it'll be 5 PM on the 3rd.
okay. Got it. Mark your calendars, everybody. All right, any more discussion? Hearing none? Go to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Let's see, next item. All right, is to approve a final pay estimate for Brainerd Amateur Hockey Foundation parking lot construction. Take it away, Mr. Sandy.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. So, as part of the right-of-way negotiations we had for the Northwest 4th Street reconstruction project, which consisted of the roundabout and the median improvements on 4th Street from Washington to Jackson Street, we did end up taking basically 24 spaces of the Brainerd Amateur Hockey Foundation parking lot. This is a parking lot that does get quite full during events, and so to help ease their concerns along with the city's concerns of potentially pushing parked cars to other places we don't want them, we the city council elected to basically construct them another parking area, which is basically to the north of their building on their property. The parking lot basically consisted of 28 spaces, so they gained 4 extra with that construction, just how the layout kind of turned out. The original negotiated contract cost with Anderson Brothers was a total amount of $122,863.84, and the final payment to Anderson Brothers with measured quantities being $121,615.54. It's about 1% under our original contract amount, and staff's recommending that we approve that amount, the final pay estimate, which is $7,424.56.
Excellent.
Quick question.
Go ahead.
Paul. 1% under budget, the remainder, does that just go back into construction 401?
Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, the money's in there, it just comes out of there, and whatever's left over stays in that fund for future projects.
Okay.
All right,
Ready with the motion then to
go ahead.
recommend approval of the attached final pay application in the amount of $121,615.54. This estimate being $7,424.56.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, go to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Fourth item, we have a final pay estimate improvement 1919 Northwest 3rd Street and Jackson Street reconstruction project. Go ahead and talk about this one if you want, Paul.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So, kind of on the same project we were working on down in that area. Another improvement we had was improvement 1919, which was the basically the back streets from Northwest 4th Street, the Jackson Street and Northwest 3rd Street behind Ace Hardware. Those were both constructed in the 2021 construction season. We had an original contract amount with Anderson Brothers for $143,635. Our final contract amount was for $148,844.16. That's based on measured quantities. That represents about 3.6% over the original construction contract. Just a few items to note. The quantities that were over the planned quantity on the project consisted of mostly an asphalt overage and one manhole casting that put us over. That was a majority of the overage. As I kind of state in the agenda request, if I keep projects within 5% over and under, we consider that acceptable in the construction industry. So that's what we consider acceptable tolerance. If projects are over or under that 5% number, we tend to start looking at what went wrong. So we're happy with that, and I guess staff recommends that we approve the final pay application for that improvement to Anderson Brothers in the amount of $148,844.16, which is $8,237.93 for this pay estimate.
Okay,
I have a motion when you're ready.
go ahead.
Move to approve the attached final pay application for improvement 1919 Northwest 3rd and Jackson Street reconstruction project to Anderson Brothers Construction of Brainerd, LLC, in a total final amount of $148,844.16, which would be $8,237.93 at this pay estimate.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, go to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Item number 5 is a pay estimate for improvements 21-02 and 21-06 2021 crack sealing project. And go ahead and tell us about this one, Paul.
Okay, so this one is another final pay app. This was for our annual crack sealing project. Lot Pros Inc. was our contractor. We had original contract amount of about $13,804. Our final construction contract was based on measured quantities, which is basically the linear feet of crack that we seal. That was $14,293. Represents about 3.55% over contract amount, but it's about $493. Overage came from, we sealed almost 5,000 more linear feet of cracks than the estimated 54,000. Basically, how this comes about is we purchase the crack filling material from the state contract, and we always purchase 11,250 pounds, and we have the contractor seal until he runs out. And so this contract is always a little bit based on how wide the crack is, or how narrow the crack is, or how deep it is. It's always fluctuates because you're filling more material on large, wide cracks and less on skinny cracks, and it's about impossible to judge. So if we come within 5% on this one, we're doing pretty good. We are still under our $20,000 budgeted threshold in our 5-year capital improvement plan. So staff is recommending that we approve that final pay app to Lot Pros in the amount of $14,293.45. There was a couple of parking lots we did too, but mostly it was street sealing, so.
So Paul, is these estimates, when they bid by the linear foot?
Exactly.
Okay,
So we go out and, as our engineering staff, we try to make a determination how far cracks are spaced apart, how wide the street are, and do a very high-level estimate of how many cracks there are on these segments of streets and how many linear feet there are. It's not an exact science, as you can imagine, but
though,
we tend, over the years, we've gotten better and better at estimating linear feet of crack and how much crack filling material that we actually use. And so being within 3%, I think, is a pretty phenomenal feat when you think about how we're estimating how many there are.
Right.
So,
All right. Anybody have a motion, discussion?
Nope, just a motion to approve the final pay application to Lot Pros Incorporated in the amount $14,293.45.
Second.
Motion and second, any more discussion? Hearing none, go to a vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. The sixth and final item on the agenda is a resolution for the 2021 capital bus purchase. And looks like we're gonna buy a bus tonight, if everybody agrees. So, Paul, if you wanna tell us about this one, go ahead.
yeah, so every year, Transit does budget to purchase a new bus. It basically keeps us on a rotation cycle. We have 10 buses. If we purchase one a year, it's one new bus every 10 years. So our buses are typically 10 years old by the time they leave. They're typically in a condition that are close to not being drivable anymore. Some of those buses have 300,000 miles on them at the end of their life. So this bus, we haven't actually received our 2020 bus yet, which we had a resolution back in March to purchase that one. Supply chain issues are giving us a hard time getting our purchase capital, but this resolution is for our 2021 bus purchase. Basically, it's an 80-20 share, like it always is. The cost of the bus from North Central Bus Sales of St. Cloud, $94,967, which is in line with what we've paid for other buses. I noticed that I didn't change that date. That should say 2021 budgeted bus in the recommended action. So we budget for this bus. We pay the 20% local share. That's covered by our transit fund. We split it proportionally to the different agreements within the system. So of the 20%, Brainerd is responsible for about 46% of that 20%, which we pay out of our reserve account, which is in excess of about $200,000 right now. So we have plenty of money to cover that expense.
So total cost of the city is 46% of 20% of $94,967.
Yep, exactly.
If anybody wants.
I can do the
their
math,
calculator. Okay. I looked through the specs on it. I didn't see any NOS or turbo of any sort.
We don't want the drivers with that kind of power.
You want to get people where they're going fast. Maybe next time. Kept it under 100 grand.
Just some fast stripes.
Flames.
And a name.
Flames. in
Richard
the
wants to
name.
name it.
Yeah, you need to name it.
All right. Motion?
I have a motion if you're ready.
Go ahead.
Move to approve the adopting of the attached resolution authorizing the purchase of 2020 budgeted bus from North Central Bus Sales of St. Cloud. Total cost of $94,967.
Second.
Motion is second. Any more discussion?
And Mr. Chair, just for the record, that's a 2021. That 2020 is wrong.
I was kind of wondering about that when I read that.
Motion amended. Any more discussion? Hearing none, go to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. That's it for tonight. Do we need a motion to adjourn from these, Mr. Lango?
Move to adjourn.
Second?
Motion and a second. Any more
Did not, I
discussion?
couldn't see.
Hearing none. Go to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.